Hello everyone and welcome back. You are looking at the newest piece that I just signed. Her name is Surrender. This is a 24-inch square wood panel with a beautiful, generous 2-inch cradle, and I will show you the sides in a moment. But I want to talk a little bit about the evolution of this piece. So shortly after I began painting the animal heads with veils of flowers swirling around them, I came across a reference photo that inspired this piece, and it was the big cat's face looking upwards. And I grabbed an old siren painting, which was a figure on a blue ground, and I painted just the cat in at the bottom of the piece, or bottom of the edge here. And I wanted her looking up into space. And at the time I had the idea of Queen Anne's lace. Queen Anne's lace spilling from the upper edge and kind of dissolving into the lion's head. But I wasn't really sure how to do it. I couldn't quite get it to not feel cliche. And so the piece, just like with Trillium's painting here, and she's still waiting for some final details, piece got moved around here in the studio while I tried to figure things out. And a couple of days ago, I was watching some Stanka Kordic painting videos, and Nick Wilton as well. And I began thinking about how neither of them really seemed to approach their paintings with any more planning other than defining a basic subject matter or color palette. And so I asked myself what might happen if I just dove in and did the same. So I grabbed the lion and decided that I was going to paint sort of these flowers floating in the sky as though they were dreams or prayers. And I began to draw them in with various pencils, paints, and other tools. And I just did them really loosely. And you'll also notice that I had these dried flower still lifes, and there's some more over here. So I was working on these using the dried ephemera already here in the studio. And I just began carving them in. I used really big brushes, and I didn't think about the flowers as anything other than an impression, just like that was my original thought for the lion too, that it was an impression. It didn't have to be actually fully solid. And the piece just evolved from there. And I tried not to overthink. I utilized a lot of the same techniques you have seen me use in other pieces. Lots of layers, negative space painting, different sorts of graphite tools. These little blue lines are Neo color. There's also, those orange lines that you see are also Neo color. Just really, really having fun and trying to just respond to the piece as it unfolded. The other thing that I did was I rotated it as I worked on it, which meant that, you know, some of the times it was like this, or like this. Sorry. I have some motor skill issues. So when you rotate a piece and you work on it in a different orientation, your brain gets a little bit confused and you stop seeing things and labeling things, for instance, cat and flowers, and you just respond to the shapes that you see. And I really enjoyed working that way, so I'm gonna embrace more of that going forward. And the other thing that I really enjoyed doing on this one was the edge treatment. And I took what was on the surface of the painting and I really wrapped it with more density of detail than usual around the edges. And I love this bumble in flight over here. So ultimately, if this painting hangs in a room where there's an approach from the side, the viewer is going to get surprised, you know. And I placed a wonderful blue jay feather on this side. So I haven't varnished her yet. There will be, I think I'm gonna put a satin varnish on her. I'm not a fan anymore of these hugely reflective ones, but I feel like a matte might cloud the color up a little bit too much. So I'll experiment with a satin varnish and see what happens. But here you have her. Ultimately, I learned that I can have a piece evolve based off of pure intuition. I don't know if this one was sheer luck, but I am gonna try this approach again with another piece where I just bring my animal in and I let it unveil, reveal, evolve. Yeah, maybe that's the word. So let me come into these eyes one more time. Remember, when you have something with a heartbeat, you really want to have a dominant eye. And I know there's glare. Here, I'll tilt this up a little bit. So you want to have a dominant eye because that's how we engage in conversation with other human beings. We look at one eye at a time. So when you paint your piece that way, where one eye demands more attention for whatever reason than the other, makes the painting feel even more alive. There you go. Surrender. Thanks for watching.